Guys, we did it. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but Hextech Chests have in fact been freed. Okay, so if you missed out on all of the drama, we've made several videos over the past 2 or so weeks detailing how Riot stirred up a sea of controversy by removing free Hextech Chests from their historically and increasingly infuriating MOBA. So if you haven't watched them, give them a whirl. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we got them. And by we, I mean literally we, all of us, the entire community, everyone who rallied together and told Riot that this wasn't to our benefit or League's, because it wasn't. And they listened. Yesterday, the Riot devs released a not totally unsincere apology video, which you should watch in its entirety if you haven't.
It's clear that for many of you, Hextech Chests weren't just a way to get stuff. They were an important part of making your time in League feel rewarding. We didn't fully grasp how much this mattered to you, and that led us to make changes that missed the mark.
Now, if you want to see the full breakdown of these changes, you can check out their official blog post, but suffice it to say, the response to these changes has been a little bit mixed. On the one hand, you've got people going, yay, sick, we won. On the other, you've got people pointing out that we are still worse off than we were before, and that's usually Riot's MO. Dantes made the basic yet poignant observation that chests and your shop and the Essence Emporium and Clash were supposed to be unsustainable. So what happened? Now, I want to be super clear. I think it is really awesome that for once Riot actually listened. I think that there may have been some internal pushback. I don't know that. I'm just speculating. And that Riot rightly observed that they had crossed the line and that their usual method of just doubling down was really biting them in the ass. I also think that they did actually listen. What do I mean by that? They did need to bring back Hextech. They did. That was the line in the sand. But they didn't need to bring back the Essence Emporium or your shop or Clash. The outcry around the removal of those things wasn't nearly as pronounced. They also didn't need to hold off on the stupid Mordekaiser Pantheon skin to make improvements or raise the overall quality of all subsequent Exalted skins. But they did. And don't come at me and call me a Riot shill for saying any of this, okay? I screamed at them in the past 2 videos. I'm simply saying that to a large degree, this is exactly what we asked for. An actual compromise that people are not wrong to celebrate. This is a rare circumstance where Riot actually admitted that they were wrong. And that shouldn't be cast aside just because they didn't undo everything. I've said this before, but Riot will never, ever apologize for Yuumi. Ever. They will die on the hill that is Cassante. Because if they never admit that they were wrong, they never have to make up for it. Once in a blue moon, Riot will come along and say, hey, we actually realize that we screwed up and are willing to make meaningful reparations. And that's exactly what they did here. And I can't believe there is now going to be public record of me saying this. Thank you, Riot, for listening and for doing right by the community, because that is actually what all of this is about. I've been hearing a lot over the past week or so about how they're just skins. People who don't really follow League have been coming up to me. They've been like, they're just skins, bro. Like, what's the big deal? They're not just skins. The removal of Hextech Chests wasn't about losing skins. It was about losing time. The reason the removal incited such outrage was because it spoke volumes about how little Riot actually care about wasting our time. Oh, you mastered a champ? That's cool. You hit Honor 5? Good for you. Oh, you want to play Clash? That's gonna be a little bit tricky for us. You know what you can do is you can roll for this $200 chroma. It's gonna cost you, and you'll never get it, but hey, we wouldn't be anywhere without our community. It even goes as deep as ranked. I hate to break it to you, but the reason that Riot refused to abandon solo queue isn't because it's like the real rank or whatever Reddit would have you believe. It's because it inherently forces you to queue more. In a cohesive, well-coordinated 5-stack, you could probably hit Diamond in half as many games as you would solo queuing. And Riot knows that. Hell, everyone knows that. Now, to be fair, this is not specific to League. Games are designed to make you play as frequently and intensely and unhealthily as possible. What was so egregious about this was the blatant disregard for the player experience. They took out almost everything that made League of Legends worth playing and then had to be begged to only bring some of it back. But they did. And I do genuinely want to reiterate how important that is. That said, what's concerning isn't that we're getting like 10 chests per act now versus whatever we were getting before. What's concerning is that Riot thought they could get away with this in the first place. Like, they could just remove every free champion cosmetic and gut the player experience overnight, and we, the community, would just be like, well, you know, times are tough, right? Like, we get it. The takeaway from all of this is that we shouldn't have to engage in these awful dances to get Riot to arrive at what should have always been a reasonable compromise to begin with. Because it does feel like what I presume are the higher ups at Riot are sort of just testing our outrage to see how far they can go, which, as the devs themselves admitted in their video, tests the trust that we, the community, have in Riot as a whole. And let's be honest, that trust is starting to wane. League doesn't need to be lifeless and soul-sucking for it to be successful. Why? Because nothing does. Make something with love, man, and people will love it in turn. It's always been like that. Always will be.